Okay, I've gone through, looked at all the cards after I sorted them, and actually what I thought of was how many different decks combinations could I come up with just using the 6 packs. And you know, they may not be competitive, they may not be competitive, but for just kitchen table gaming, you know, this is the way to get the most out of 6 packs. It's a great way to learn a lot of different cards without, you know, just buying a bunch or whatever. So the first one I'm going to go over is Director Krennic with green. So it'd be a black, green, blue deck. So what I did was I took all the cards that were villainy, blue, and green, and all the comments. So all the, like this one is just green, so I took that, just blue, and then the cards that are a combination of the two, so what I'm talking about, so blue, black, blue, green, same thing. So I took all those cards and I'm looking to make a 30 card deck. So I put all those cards out there, plus the neutrals. I think I had 4 neutrals. And what I came up with was 35 cards. So I want, you know, this deck to be as efficient as possible. So I have to figure out what 5 cards do I not want. So at that point, I divide everything up into early game, so 1 or 2 cost, mid game, which is 3 or 4 cost, which I had very few of, and then I kind of came up with the rest would be late game, 5 cost or more, but I wanted to see just what were my 5, especially in this deck because there's not a lot of units. My 5 cost and then higher, and then I break them down by events and upgrades. Each category I divide events and upgrades and units, because out of 30 cards I want to have about 20. I want to have as close to 20 units as possible, you know, maybe more, but with a blue deck it's more controlling, so there's going to be a lot more of those tricks and events that are going to take place. But I went through this and I needed to cut 5 cards. So when I laid it out, I had a lot of late game cards, which normally I'd only want 3 or 4 maybe. But green seems to be a big stompy unit, color or aspect, so I went off of that. So let me show you the cards, rather than just show you the cards I'm playing, let me show you what I cut. Now I did add the neutral units or cards, which were there's another one, the Corellian Freighter. These 3 units, sorry, I added them because I needed some more units to get up to that 20 mark. So they're low and mid-range cards, so a 2, 3, and a 5 cost, just to get some more units in there. So here's what I took out, and let me explain what. So 3 of them were events. I mean, it's hard to, you know, a lot of these, I mean, most of these cards, there's a purpose for it. Defeat an upgrade, that's great. But it wasn't something that was going to, yeah, it would slow down the opponent, you know, but not a big one. Same one with Make an Offering. Give a unit -2/-2 for this phase and heal 2 damage, which is good because we're playing more of a late game, higher cost units, so we do have, our clock's going to be ticking, but I still felt I need to cut this. Maximum firepower, it's 4 cost and it's situational. I need to have those units on the board, and I'm a late game unit kind of play, so took those out. And then 2, sadly I had to take 2 big guys out, 2 walkers. Actually I have 1 reinforced walker still in there, so I took the second copy of that out, and just another blizzard. It's a big stompy, but I kept it in. So the reason I chose between these 2 was this card, the Suppressor. Whenever it's played, because you're going to probably play it your first action of a turn, it exhausts all the ground units. So your clock stops for that turn as far as ground units goes. That also includes your ground units. And I did play this deck twice, just on felt table. I loaded up the deck, put it in there, and yeah, when you play it, it exhausts your ground units as well as your opponents. So you may be tempted to, well, let me get in an attack before that. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to just stop the clock. So that's the reason I kept the Suppressor in versus the Blizzard. Because let's say Blizzard, when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may deal excess damage to other ground units. Again, once I get these units on, I just want to go straight into their base and get that. Now, another aspect of this of blue that I like is it has these cards with grit. Okay, so you get +1/+0 for each damage you put on it. So what I was able to do was bump up his defense. So now he had 8 defense, and I was able to get him an experience token when Gideon came out. So he had all this defense, and I would use him to attack small enemies, ground units, and bump him up to get his attack up. And then once he had a little damage, Krennic goes off and gives him +1. So it wasn't, I don't think it was my rugged, it was actually a small unit. Was it the bike pursuers? Yeah. So this guy ended up, he was doing, I think, 8 or 9 damage at the end, because he had this resilient, an experience token, and then some damage, and it was just really, maybe, I don't know if I got the electro staff on him or not, but it was just a neat way. And so there is my Director Krennic-Green deck, and we'll see what else I can come up with.